98, 99, 100% alt charge. Unleash the dragons, go whole hog, activate your aimbots. In the game of Overwatch, ultimates are powerful attacks that can sway the tide of battle and secure victory from the jaws of defeat. But not all ultimates are created equal. Some are deadlier than others, allowing for greater pushes or netting a higher number of eliminations per game. Hi, I'm Kyle Stover here with Leaderboard, bringing you our definitive list of Overwatch's weakest to deadliest ultimates. We're looking to go beyond pure damage count, so follow us along as we break it down. We're going to drop Sound Barrier first, so hear us out on this one. We've kept the support ultimates on here as despite not directly dealing damage, these ultimates can set up a team to kill some enemies quickly. That being said, Sound Barrier is a very short burst of shielding, so the window to score a kill is rather narrow. Still, it can usually save a teammate and help turn a fight back in your favor. Keeping your team alive through an ultimate usually nets a kill or 3 as they push back against the enemy. Starting with the weaker ultimates on our list, next we have to go with Primal Rage. Sorry Winston, but your Rager just doesn't really bring the hurt when stacked up against the rest. And that's not quite a bad thing. Winston's massive health bar and knockback ability make this great for disrupting the enemy and contesting a point. It just doesn't get as many kills as the rest. All ultimates are not created equal, and while some do not do direct damage, we're searching for the game changes who can have the highest chance of turning the tide. Sorry big guy. It's time to go whole hog with Roadhog. Another solid ultimate that just doesn't secure enough kills for us. It's got some power to the knockback, but the low cal greatly affects how much death this one can hand out. Unless we're next to a bottomless pit or Roadhog has cornered an enemy up against a wall, this is one that is all push and not as much bite as the others. At least Roadhog seems to be enjoying himself through it every time. We're trying to keep the balance with Transcendence as the next on our list. Zenyatta's ultimate does a great amount of healing over a stretch of time, usually used for pushing a point or holding a payload. This window of increased area healing gives his teammates ample time to turn the tables on some would-be attackers and not hold back. An enemy caught in the middle of a Transcendence for the enemy team will have to answer to Zenny's teammates and their nicely topped off health bars. Rolling onwards, Bastion's tank configuration doesn't blow us away quite like the others. Bastion, we love you just the way you are. You don't have to change for us. Or at least we really like your turret mode, and your tank mode is alright. While each blast does pack a punch, there's a whole lot of jumping and a whole lot of blind firing going on here. Bastions are usually too far back when they get their ult, and more often than not get the big kills with their sentry mode weapon set. We're aiming high but shooting low with Pharah's Barrage. While this ultimate is deadly at close range, if too high, Pharah's missiles won't finish anyone off by the time they reach the ground. Add in the number of times she's shot down mid-ultimate and you'll get a picture of why we dropped this one so far down the list. A lot of these come down to player and team skill, but Barrage is a lot of hit or miss for us. Cheers love, the pulse bomb's placed next for us. Sorry old chap. Tracers can drop a little bomb of death on anyone she can zip on over to. It's small, it's quick, but it has a good chance of killing the target. While a little tricky to stick, this ult can knock out key players and any of their teammates unlucky enough to be caught in the blast. While lethal, it's a tad limited in deployment, so it's staying down here. Boosting up through the ranks is Nano Boost from Ana, a support ult that boosts another player's damage output and reduces their incoming damage, so indirectly it can directly be the reason behind a lot of destruction. When paired with another ultimate, things can get dangerously cheesy, but even just boosting a Reinhardt or an Orisa can wield a healthy crop of dead enemies. It needs a little support and backup, but Ana has the goods. You won't see it coming until it's too late to do anything. Sombra's EMP can take an entire team by surprise. Though it does knock out shields and barriers, EMP doesn't deal actual damage to players. It does, however, leave them with the means to defend themselves or react against your team's ultimate abilities, even if in a limited fashion. This window can wreck synergy and often can snowball into a full team wipe. Well, if her teammates are ready to throw down while the enemy's guard is down. At the least, it should get some squishies like Zenyatta killed before abilities are back online. We always have a blast with D.Va's Self-Destruct. Generating a great deal of damage and flashing lights does not a deadly ultimate make. It does help though. Early on, we often always seem to get caught in the blast wave, but as we've learned the tricks, it's gotten easier to avoid the explosion. Barriers are more plentiful and teammates are more prepared to throw down blockage now. Still, with the right right maneuvering, a skilled D.Va can snag a sweet play of the game with a juicy multi-kill. No hacks required. Bending realities, Symmetra's teleporter and shield generator find their way onto our list of efficiency. We get it. Even after all the patches and rework, some of you still don't like Symmetra. But Symmetra, she loves you. Why else would she carry around 2 ultimates just to support you? The teleporter is the poor man's resurrect, commuting fallen teammates back into the fight to keep defenses up. Of all the other ultimates, her shield generator can outlast all of them. And Lord help the team that can't find the enemy shield generator before pushing a point. This ultimate gives her teammates the edge in the fight and lets them be their deadliest selves. It's high noon somewhere in the world, and McCree's DEADEYE clocks in at 12 here. McCree sure knows how to make an entrance. Thundering voice announcing the time, glowing backdrop tumbleweed rolling on through. Unfortunately, as sharp a shooter as he can be, his slow lock-on and timing knocks him down on our list. Only thing more embarrassing than a McCree standing out by himself with no one to lock onto is a dead one. While still new on the scene, Orisa's Supercharger is climbing the ranks among tank ultimates. Boosting the damage of all of her teammates in range ups the lethality of any team and can determine the outcome of an all-in-all team fight. At least few unfortunate souls will be caught in the onslaught of firepower being sent their way, so with careful deployment on this one, this ult is not to be underestimated. Or do, because we'll gladly stand behind this anchor tank. Now that we've hammered this list out, let's fire up Molten Core. Torbjorn's ultimate is no laughing matter. It can give even the strongest push trouble with the overclocked turret and a fiery Swedish engineer running around, often acting more as a deterrent than anything. Many players take it as a sign to fall back and wait it out. Torbjorn himself, while tanky, usually isn't overly threatened, with most of the punishment being doled out by his turret, which focuses on whoever is closest to lock onto. With the right tank out front or a strong healer on hand, chances of survival increase greatly. We really didn't want to pit brother against brother here, but between Hanzo and Genji, we picked Hanzo's DRAGONSTRIKE as next. Early on, this ultimate is a killer, with a massive area of effect that just keeps going and going and going. Now that we've been around for a few competitive seasons, we're not as afraid of the double dragons as we used to be. Still, when fired right into a crowd or down a narrow lane, it's usual for his ultimate to get a few choice eliminations. A lot comes down to timing though, as a Hanzo activating it too far away from his targets allows for plenty of escape options. Nothing like casually walking out of the way of a death tornado barreling down the map. If you were Widowmaker, you probably saw this one coming a mile away. Next on our list is Infrasight. Awareness on the battlefield can be the difference between victory and defeat. Widowmaker can grant her entire team insight into every enemy moving about the map with her ultimate. This usually disrupts flankers, highlights snipers, and allows her teammates to better size up the enemy position. While she doesn't get direct credit in the kill feed for the eliminations, her ult messes things up for the enemy and leaves them at the mercy of her teammates. No one can hide from her sights, at least not for the next 15.5 seconds. You want death and destruction? Well, you can get death and destruction with a simple rip tire. It's a simple mechanic, really. Just one spiky tire filled to the brim with explosives, jumping and climbing walls to find the softest, most tender targets. Junkrat's got one of the few ultimates with its own health bar, but it's a tricky thing to stick nonetheless. Add in some creative jumping and wall climbing, and this ultimate can usually find its way to a backline healer or an otherwise defended enemy face before detonation. Sometimes the difference between a defeat and a victory is a well-timed resurrect. Eliminating enemies isn't just about the solo power of one attack, but how effectively it shapes the battlefield for your team. A whole team back from death's door can demolish any remaining opponents, and even 2 heroes back up can give you the firepower you need to take back that point. The sudden respawning of reinforcements mixed with 2.5 seconds of invincibility gives you a good reason to watch out for Overwatch's winged angel when she's on the battlefield. Payback can be a glitch, and most players come back with a vengeance upon revival. Jumping up and around and over and dashing even higher is Genji and his Dragonblade. Becoming the dragon seems to work for this Shimada brother. He finally unsheathes his blade and lets loose into whatever targets are unfortunate enough to be within his sight. Add in his mobility and jumping all around, and Genji is set to cut the enemy's side in half. Where Hanzo's attack is a massive and slow attack, Genji's is quick and precise as he swings his sword. Even the heaviest of hitters have trouble putting him down once he gets started. The only downside is how close he needs to be to his targets. We don't want to leave you out in the cold, so we're wrapping this up with Blizzard up next. A large area of effect? Check. Hard to escape once in it? Check. Immobility? The biggest check. Heck, it even does damage while freezing all in place. Mei's ability lets her line up headshot after headshot and deny a critical area of play to the enemy team. It's hard to block, and plenty of characters have no chance to escape it once it starts up. Mei may be more of a researcher with a fluffy outside
outside, but inside we know she's one mean ice queen who knows how to throw down. It's a bird! It's a plane! No! It's Reaper dropping down from his death blossom! Reaper may get some flank for his bleak outlook and dramatic garb, but he knows a thing or two about taking out enemies still. That and costume design. And how to make an entrance. Reaper, can we call you Gabe, is good at doling out punishment from behind enemy lines, but give him an opening and he will death blossom all over your face. Death came, and death took your puny life in the process. Just don't tell him that Jack Morrison beat him off to the top 3. The mighty Reinhardt claims a seat at number 3 on our list with EARTHSHATTER. A better tank you could not have asked for, and he's got an ult that doesn't leave you wanting more. EARTHSHATTER stuns enemies in a forward-facing cone from the downstrike and leaves them down on the ground for easy pickings. Either solo with his hammer swinging or with help from friends, any enemies caught in the attack are going to be taking a beating. It stuns, it stops, and it drops even the beefiest of characters at a moment's notice. It might as well be a hack because Tactical Visor makes eliminations look easy. We've all played against players who are just too damn good with their aiming, but none quite like Soldier 76's Tactical Visor Aimbot Ultimate. With the right vantage point and some quick thinking, this old soldier can mow down squishies like nobody's business. You've got to respect the visor and deal with it, or it will deal with you. Once activated, it's quick to rack up eliminations unless directly dealt with, so here's hoping you have someone ready to spring the right ability in time. Making a big impression and pulling us out of our seats is lastly but clearly not least, Zarya's Graviton Surge. Nothing quite brings a team together like a gravity well, sucking them all in and keeping them in place. Be it positioned over a bottomless pit, right in the path of a Dragonstrike, or just out in the open, laid out like a buffet for the other team. Zarya's ult pairs well with just about any team or a plan of attack and gets the most amount of targets killed, changes the course of most fights, and generally messes up a whole lot of plans. We're giving Zarya the number 1 spot with this one, and we hope the other characters are taking notes. When this one goes down, guns up, pick your targets, and clear the point. And that's a wrap for us. This has been Kyle Stover with the Leaderboard covering Overwatch's Deadliest Ultimates list. Agree? Disagree? Agree to disagree? Let us know in the comments which ultimates you fear the most. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to not miss out as we drop new videos and 107 facts every week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on BattleNet.